and Christopher Dean collapsed to the ice at the climax of their routine to Bolero. They scored maximum points, and we were all suddenly ice skating experts, weren't we? And we all wanted to know about them. After years of working on Dancing on Ice, you'll have the chance to hear their story as they come to the Wyvern Theatre in Swindon with Our Life on Ice in conversation with Torvill and Dee. It's kind of based on the autobiography. 10th of December is the date for your diary, but before that, we caught up with them from two different locations at the tail end of last week, one of which was in America. It's like we blew the entire afternoon show phone call budget in one go, but it is for the sake of Jane Torvill and Christopher Dean.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. Now, let's not beat around the bush. Let's start with the question that everyone wants to ask you. Torvill and Dean, was it ever going to be Dean and Torvill?
No,
it's to do with the International Skating Union protocol, and they always denounce the ladies first, and so after that it was always Torvill and Dean.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it was exactly as Chris said, and then even when it gets abbreviated, it's not D&T, it's always T&D.
And I'm astonished by this fact. Does it feel like you've been working together for almost 40 years?
Yeah, we just packed so much into it. It feels like from going from competition, turning professional, we've barely stopped doing one thing after another and new challenges along the way as well. So we've been very fortunate that our career has continued.
Yeah, no, it seems like yesterday that we were first going into the Nottingham ice rink at 6 a.m. on our partnership, and then blink of an eye, and here we are nearly 40 years later. Still skating, still doing what we love to do, and, mostly good friends at the same time.
I love them mostly. The autobiography is coming out shortly. I mean, how was that for both of you to work on that? Because you don't beat around the bush, you talk about the personal stuff. I know your early family, Chris, and Jane, your struggles to become a mum. Was it easy to talk about that?
Yeah, I think we first started, we did a big interview last year with Piers Morgan, and a lot of those kind of conversations came up. There's a big chunk of our life that's not been covered, and indeed now we wanted that to be a part of the book as well as, lots of stuff about the skating, the Olympics. We wanted some of the personal things to be included in the book.
Well, it's your first visit to the Wyvern Theatre in Swindon. How will the evening work?
Gosh, this is something completely new for us as well. We're really excited and quite terrified by it at the same time, because it's an evening with us. Jane and I articulating the words, making those words in the book come to life, but also I think we can expand on them, and I think people will see us in a different light. We want to be physically entertaining as well. We're used to moving around on the stage of ice. Now we've got a stage, and I think we'll still be moving around. I think we'll still be quite active out there and doing lots of demonstrations about things that we've done on the ice, but also articulating the very personal details of our life.
And, of course, people are going to ask you about your personal relationship. So let's get it out of the way. Let's take you back to when you were teenagers. What did happen on the back seat of that bus?
Dabbled. That's the word. That's as far as it goes.
That's what you said to Piers Morgan. I dabbled. I've looked it up in the dictionary, Chris. I don't know quite what it means.
You know what? I haven't looked it up in the dictionary. I'm sure it has to be in there.
It is, and it's something to do with a duck. When a duck's in water, it dabbles or something.
The mind is really boggling what you got up to on that back seat.
Yeah.
But seriously, I mean, do you think you would still be here sort of 40 years on if you had ever become a couple? Would it have been possible, do you think?
That's what I always say. The reason we still speak to each other and we're still good friends is that we never got married.
Okay, I've got dabbled up here. Listen to this.
Go on then.
There is the water bit, but it also says, take part in an activity in a casual or superficial way. There you go.
Oh, I thought it had to do with a duck on water.
Well, you need to read down the paragraph, Jane.
Yeah, Jane, don't concentrate on that. Concentrate on the superficial way. That's what I'm focusing on. That's not good.
No.
Thank God it was superficial, because that's what got us through the next 40 years.
Now, 4 minutes and 28 seconds of perfection. I'm not talking about the interview. No, let's talk about Bolero. When did you realise the enormity of what you'd done?
It certainly wasn't straight away. Our life was geared around to those 4 minutes and 28 seconds on that day at that particular time. And so the pressure for us was to deliver, give the performance that we knew that we could do. We trained all our life. We trained that year getting to that point. Whatever happened, that was going to be the best 4 minutes and 28 seconds at that time. And so for us, that was the concentration. It was only afterwards and some weeks, if not months later, when we returned to England after the competition, that we realised how many people had tuned in and the way they turned out to support us when we came back home. We were completely blown away by it all. And even now, some 30 years down the road, people still come and say, I remember where I was on that day. And so it is a very obviously special moment in our life.
Well, it's a special moment, I think, in lots of our lives, to be honest. 10th of December is the date. You're coming to the Wyvern Theatre in Swindon. Now, Swindon does have an ice rink at the Link Centre. The ice hockey team, the Wildcats, play there. Will you both be tempted to bring your skates along before appearing at the Wyvern?
Wherever we go, we seem to carry some form of skates with us, so...
Yeah.
We'll look forward to you seeing it at the Link Centre then. Just book out your skates if you don't bring your own. That'll be fine. Now, we've got a little game. We've got a little game for you. We've called it Torvill and Dean, They're Very Keen. So if you're up for this, we've done a jingle, so please enjoy. Here we go. Torvill and Dean, Torvill and Dean. They are very keen, they are very keen. Torvill and Dean, Torvill and Dean. You know what I mean?
I love it.
You say that now. Basically, the game is, how keen are you to tell us about each other's characters, okay? So what I want you to do, be very honest, be very quick. I'll ask you a question, and you need to answer it either Jane or Chris. So shout out either Jane or Chris. So, for example, who is the most nervous before a performance?
Chris.
Would you say...
Chris.
Yeah, Chris? We've cracked this game now. Okay. Who's the untidiest?
Jane.
Who has the most annoying habits?
Me.
We don't even go down there. Who's the best dresser?
Me.
Jane.
Who's always late?
Me.
Jane.
Who gets the last word in an argument?
I think Chris. Do you disagree?
Jane silently.
Yeah, please don't have an argument about that. Who cries the most?
It's a 50-50 now. I think as I've grown older, I've gotten softer.
Yeah.
And who has the best singing voice?
Oh, absolutely me.
You can sing along to this then. Torvill and Dean, Torvill and Dean. They are very keen, they are very keen.
Very keen.
Torvill and Dean, Torvill and Dean. You know what I mean?
What I mean,
Beautifully done, we can't wait. Jane Torvill, Christopher Dean, we look forward to seeing you in Swindon in December.
we'll see you there.
Yeah.